I can't think of two players I love more walking into 2026 than Brock Bowers and Josh Allen. Some cases you can grab them both on the same team. Other times you got to pick and choose which one you want. But I don't think there'll be very many drafts I walk out of that don't have at least one, if not both of these gentlemen on said roster. Dynasty redraft doesn't matter. The Fantasy Football Show Graveyard Edition, ladies and gentlemen, begins right now.
You're watching a
Graveyard Stream.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
A couple of the mantras we're going to have here in 2026 are going to be diversification across your fantasy football portfolios, making sure you don't have too many shares of one in particular player. These two I will oversaturate. I'm not saying I'm going to go 70%. I'm not saying I'm going to go, I did that with Mahomes. I did that with Hendy. I did that with a bunch of players last year. It worked out real well. Had a damn good year. But, who's to say I would have had a better year had I diversified a little bit? Who's to say I wouldn't have coasted into a few more championships or had an easier time getting into one when you're waiting on a Hendy, a Harvey, and those guys can bog down even though other guys are stepping up. Diversification across the fantasy football portfolio, that is going to be mantra number one. You could say commandment number one. Commandment number two is going to be reliability. And these two gentlemen will be as reliable as it gets. Josh Allen, as reliable as it gets. Bowers will be as reliable as it gets. Don't let last year's injury fool you. Don't let last year's offensive line mix you up and get you in your feelings. Don't let last year's quarterback situation or Pete Carroll, the coaching situation, or the offensive line coaching inabilities, ineptness to make you run away from Brock Bowers or the Raiders situation. These two gentlemen will carry you week in and week out. And dare I say, teams that own both these gentlemen will be winning a lot of championships in 2026. And I'm going to have a bunch of teams with both these guys. My oversaturation, I guess, rule of thumb, instead of being like, oh, I'll go 50, 60% on a player. And I'm okay with that. I know what I'm signing up for. I'm not like oblivious or shocked if things go awry that I have multiple teams that could, tank. Or, I'm drafting and using the wire in a way that I can maybe make up for some disaster like that anyway. But a lot of people will take advice from me, and if I say, yeah, draft Allen in every league, and then he doesn't do well, you hate me, and then you don't want to watch the channel. And I'm unsubscribing. This guy told me to draft Josh Allen because you're Steve out there, and Steve's brainless and doesn't use his own judgment. I know what I'm signing up for. I might just not walk my own walk with a couple of these guys. I'm just being I'm always honest with you guys. Always honest. I'm just being completely blatantly honest with you. These are two gentlemen I could throw caution to the wind on. My plan, my trying to control myself, contain myself plan of attack will be probably something to the tune of like 20-30% saturation on Underdog, promo code Smitty. Underdog, play 5, get 75. Make sure you guys are using promo code Smitty. The link is going to be dropped in the live chat in a second. It's in the description of the video. Code Smitty gets it done as well. But they'll match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000 bucks. But like a 30% saturation of Bowers and Josh Allen, that's a bare minimum for me. Even if I'm trying to trend around 15-18% as a high for most players to diversify my portfolio, these will be two players I lean heavily in. And I wouldn't be shocked if I don't walk my own walk on a few of these guys, these two in particular, because I'm fine if I screw it up. If they don't make it, injury strikes, I'm taking a calculated stab at these guys single-handedly winning me leagues. And I firmly believe that lots of championship teams will have both these guys on the teams. It's going to be hard in some ways to get both of them. You may have to have a certain draft selection. You might have to take one at the end of round number 2 and the other at the top of 3. But hopefully you can find a spot in 3 and 4 where it can work for you in some cases. Brock Bowers may or may not even be a third rounder. He might be a mid-third. He might be a top of round three. He might be a top of round 4. You might run into certain scenarios where earlier in the offseason on Underdog, promo code Smitty, again, link in description, use code Smitty. Early on Underdog, you might be able to get him at 4.1. So you take him in the third, the 3-4 turn. It might easily be able to be had on Underdog. Maybe you can't do it in your home league in August, but that's why we do play Underdog. We do play DFS. We do play Best Ball. We do all these different avenues to take advantage of some of the advice that can be applicable early on in the offseason, early drafts, and not others. Dynasty, there's a little bit of an increase in value for Allen in Dynasty versus redraft. There's definitely a decent amount, not so much that you can't see certain things happening like this, but there's definitely a more increased value in Dynasty for Bowers in Dynasty versus redraft. But they're two very, very easy to get players right now in Best Ball and in certain contexts of early drafting where you can have both of them and you're not necessarily having to go bookend 2-3 turn. These are Saturn men or not Saturn men, they're Jupiter men. And I put Josh Allen, I anoint Josh Allen a Jupiter man right here, right now.
The Jupiter men. Jupiter is so large, every planet in the solar system could fit inside it. There are no bigger monsters than the Jupiter men.
Does Neighbors have risk? Yes. Does Love have risk? Not a lot at all. Genty have risk? I don't think so. I think some will say that's why he's on this list, is he's a value. Everyone on here is not just a big name player. Oh, Smitty throws big name guys on his Jupiter man list. If I did that, you'd see Bijan and Gibbs and those guys. We're talking about values. If Gibbs starts getting doubted for whatever reason because of Drew Petzing in Arizona as the OC, then yeah, we're going to have Gibbs on here as a pick 7 or whatever, because that can win leagues. Gibbs at pick 7, pick 8 could win leagues. We'll see where his ADP levels out. 2 months from now, that might not be the case. We might not see any sort of adjustment. Maybe 2 months from now, people do get sour on that situation a little bit, and we see him slip a little. But the point is, if you're making a Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, or Moon Man board, you are a value at your cost of entry. Jeremiah Love could be a top 5 running back. He's going to probably cost you a top of round 3 pick in early drafting. Genty deserves to be in round 1. He'll be cemented into round 2. Bowers deserves to be in round 2. He'll be in 3, maybe 4. Neighbors is getting doubted like crazy because people are regurgitating bad information 8 months away from any decision being made, and they think he won't be ready for week 1. Even if he wasn't, he's still going to ball given the cost of entry. His cost of entry will lower if there's some sort of setback, and he'll be even cheaper, thus baked in. Even risk is baked in even more. Josh Allen deserves to go at the 1-2 turn. You heard me. That's where he deserves to go. But did Smitty just say to take Josh Allen at the bottom of a 1? No, I told you that the world should be drafting him at the 1-2 turn. I didn't say he would go that high. That's where his value is. If this guy's going in round 3, Josh Allen, and you're getting what constitutes a top 12, 13, 14 overall player, maybe higher. Remember, the world used to draft quarterbacks that high. The world used to take a guy like Josh Allen at the 1.1, 1.4, 1.5 in 1 QB leagues. That world we live in is gone. But that doesn't mean that the principles and drivers behind why he went that high aren't still prevalent. And so just because you're trained and taught and also taking advantage of the market value of quarterbacks being no higher than round 3 in a typical 1 QB draft, unless you're drafting with Aunt Edna and Uncle Buck, they'll take Josh Allen because they love Buffalo at number 3. But that's not a real representation of fantasy football as a whole. You're playing in a one-off league with different values. Frankly, they're right on. They're dead on, and that Josh Allen should be getting drafted in the top 12. But our world that we live in now, the fantasy football environment we live in now, and I've been doing this for 20 plus years professionally. So this is not me coming out and not understanding the market. This is me saying I laugh at the market. This is me saying I take advantage of the market. This is me saying I'll make you take a lap if you take Josh Allen any higher than you have to. I'll send you on the biggest lap of your life.
Take a big lap.
You should be taking advantage. You should be grabbing him exactly where he belongs ADP-wise because you win leagues. These two gentlemen should be grabbed in every league you can that makes sense without oversaturating. And the earlier you draft them, probably the better. I can't imagine their ADPs both don't climb. Even if he gets, let's say, Dable. You know, you got an existing dynasty league right now. Take advantage. If Dable ends up being the head coach in Buffalo 5 days from now, we'll come in here and tell you we told you so. Someone might say, wait a minute, it's only been 5 days. Doesn't matter. You have 5 days to go attack him in dynasty and you sat on your hands. I don't know why you did. Bowers. Once this Mendoza situation starts getting ironed out, you finally know there's an actual name that goes along with the quarterback spot. Right now, who's the quarterback? We think it's Mendoza, probably Mendoza. When it actually becomes Mendoza, that's one thing checked off, one box that's checked, and you say, great. Now we're one step closer to trusting Bowers to the full degree of his capabilities. Once you start seeing Mendoza, boom, another check mark, evidence. Once the offensive line starts getting repaired through free agency, oh, this addition, that addition, here, we're hearing this piece of good news. Oh, this offensive line coach, we like him. One check. Every time you check it off, this guy's going up, 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 up he goes. So, don't say you weren't warned. Don't say you weren't told in early January for this cat right here.
The Jupiter men. Jupiter is so large, every
January
planet
5.
in the solar system could fit inside it. There are no bigger...
Don't say you weren't told on January 22 that Josh Allen should be on your go-get list in Dynasty. This entire crew, they're league winners. Josh Allen's a league winner. You know who's not winning leagues? People that don't own him. Dial in, dial in, dial in. And let me hit the super chat. First super chat of the night is from Box of Juice. He says, Bills made a big mistake. I don't agree. I think that Brandon Beane is a big mistake. I think elevating him to president of football operations is a big mistake. I think getting rid of a head coach that, yes, has the love of the team, but I don't necessarily think change has to be a bad thing. I think Josh Allen now gets to kind of be, I don't want to say handpick, but be involved in kind of the build, the repair, the rectifying situations process that will help him get to the next level. And I think that you can bring in somebody like Dable. You can bring in somebody that's going to be even Webb, and you bring in the right pieces. You start attacking wide receiver. Now, you can say, hey, Smitty, that's not always up to. It's up to Beane. It's up to Brandon Beane. It's not up to a head coach. And you might say McDermott wasn't really the one that was at fault here. Well, he's the one. He's the coach. And if this team refuses to draft the appropriate players, refuses to trade for the appropriate players, if he doesn't have control enough to do that, then maybe he is a problem. So, Box of Juice, I disagree. I don't think it's neither bad or good yet. I think that it definitely could be a wash in terms of the head coaching situation. Brandon Beane could step in and mess with the situation, not allow this team to draft or trade for the right players. But I have a feeling whoever does come in will want a little bit more authority than I believe we're being told that Brandon Beane will have, given his new elevation to president of football operations. On top of being GM, this guy got promoted. He's the problem. They should have got rid of him. That is a mistake, not getting rid of him. Promoting him is a mistake. But moving on and trying to do something different, that's the same thing with Tomlin and Harbaugh. Firing Harbaugh was not a problem. It wasn't necessarily a mistake. Just because he'll go and play and have this Giants team playing out of their mind in 1 year, if not less, that doesn't mean that it was a mistake to let him go. Some people are going to paint that story, but look, change needed to happen. Tomlin could succeed somewhere, but it wasn't going to be in Pittsburgh. So, sometimes you just got to move on, my boy. This one here, I've come to the realization in my Dynasty League, they overvalue players and devalue your players. Oh, well. Well, I mean, that's every Dynasty League, bro. Dynasty Leagues are hard to trade in. The thing is, though, people come to me and say, Smitty, no one trades in my league, or similar, statement that you're giving me right now. But the bottom line is you just got to get creative, bro. You got to send out lots of offers, not 2-3 offers in total. It needs to be 2 or 3 offers per owner, even if you're doing them one at a time. And you also have to get creative. A lot of people will say, Smitty, I've been trying to get, let's say, George Pickens. You want to get Pickens. And I've been trying really hard to get Pickens. Yeah, you're trying to send him Devontae Smith and a second rounder. And I'm not saying I'm not trying those moves too, but that's probably not going to get it done. And so you got to figure out ways. You got to sacrifice. You got to do things that maybe aren't comfortable. Like you might have to give up first rounders. You might have to give up a first rounder and a Devontae Smith. You might have to give up 50 of your fab dollars on top of all this. You might have to give up a second rounder. You might have to give up a second, a first, and a third, and Devontae Smith to go get players at that caliber, to go upgrade. You might have to give up a potential tight end. Maybe you have, let's say, I don't know. Let's throw a tight end type of trade. Let's say you've got Fannin, and let's use a wide receiver. I'm going to try and give you a real hardcore example of how to downgrade. Let's say you got St. Brown, and you're trying to get into this is where I think a lot of people's problem is. They try and upgrade or trade, let's say, St. Brown for, let's say you're trying to dilute it into Olave and something. First of all, I don't mind this if you're going to go that route. If you needed that something, whatever it ends up being. But sometimes the easier way is to go travel upward. So instead of thinking about always taking a player and dividing it into two, I'm oftentimes doing the thing that potentially leaves me even thinner. And then I attack the free agency, the offseason, making multiple trades, trading future first rounders to get back into some now value. But I would gladly give up St. Brown plus something to go get a let's call it Neighbors right now, who's got some doubt. And if you can get away with this, obviously I do it, but I'm interested in buying players that are in flux right now that I truly believe in. So Bowers in flux right now. People worried about that situation. Neighbors, I just told you. Lamar is somebody I believe will return to glory, and he's discounted. Breece Hall, until he moves teams, he still feels like ambiguous, unknown Breece Hall. Henderson, what is the volume going to be like for Henderson? It's confusing. Every single one of these players. Now, I'm not saying I trade St. Brown for every one of them. I'm just merely trying to go through a carousel of players that in some cases you're going to get Hendy and a player for your St. Brown. But the players I'm targeting are either going to be an upgrade, like into a questionable Neighbors, but I think it's an upgrade. You could go into JJ, try and get more on your side of the fence, or do a confusing 2-for-2 that upgrades this piece into a quietly better player. The trades that you're making there, the offers that you're making are probably very clear-cut one-for-ones, where you're saying, hey, I'll trade you, Olave, because you've found him, you've been holding on to him, you don't necessarily need him, but you're like, damn, this is a good time to sell him, even though I like him, and you're trying to go get a Bucky straight up or something, and the person's just like, I like my player, I don't want to get rid of a running back, and these kind of trades aren't going to fly. The kind of moves that you got to make would be, let's say you wanted to get Bucky, the kind of moves you got to make, maybe they're just more dynamic. Maybe you've got Loveland, and maybe you've got Fannin, and you're going to have to make a choice. Or you have, a lot of times people have both, they either have Fannin or they have Tyler Warren. So let's say you have Warren and Loveland. Trading Loveland isn't the best feeling right now because he feels like he's going to be a massive, top, 30 overall player, and he could be. So could Warren. So could Fannin. This guy is very, very easy to sell high. So if you kept Warren or Fannin, and now you trade Loveland, a hot commodity, and you're going and getting two pieces, I easily could probably make a trade where I'm trading Loveland away and I'm getting a Pickens, and potentially, even if I make it a complicated 2-for-2, I'm going to figure out a way to upgrade something else in a way that makes a ton of sense for me. Trading players that are tradable, that are attractive. The problem with a lot of you that come to me and say, I can't make any trades, and I'm not saying this is you, Racing Boy. You're trying to get rid of players no one wants. It's like I've been trying to get rid of Jacoby Myers. It's like, I get it. He's not bad. I'm not trying to make fun of Jacoby Myers, but no one wants him. Hey, Smitty, I've been trying to get rid of Garrett Wilson. I'm not saying Garrett Wilson doesn't bounce back, but no one's trading for Garrett Wilson. The players in Dynasty that people are like, okay, wait a minute, hold the phone. Those players are going to be Loveland. People are going to love trading for Loveland right now. People are going to love trading for JSN. And I'm not saying you trade JSN for anybody. I'm not a moron. No one's interested in London right now. You should be interested in London because he's doubted and you buy low. But no one's interested in buying London right now. There's risk involved. No one wants your Mahomes right now because he's coming back from an ACL tear. No one necessarily wants to pay top dollar for Nico Collins because he proved he was, in a kind of a worse situation than everybody expected. Hampton, people want Hampton right now. I'm not saying I'm trading Hampton. You got to sell him to the, at moon value. But these are players that are going to move the needle. If not, if you can't get any dynasty trades done right now, you trade first rounders. You trade multiple first rounders and try and go get one player right here. You figure out ways to get creative. Doing these trading off of players you don't want and expecting other people to see value, that's where I think people get hung up. You're not thinking outside the box. Dial into the phone line. Appreciate every single one of you that have dropped a super chat, gifted membership lately. I don't know how long we'll be here tonight. We might go live on the Dynasty channel immediately after this, but dial into the phone line.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
These are them. Try and buy Allen. Since we're on the topic right now, Bowers is such a good buy low. I would trade Loveland for Bowers straight up right now. Some people might not. So if you're saying, I can't make any trades, I'm buying on the discount right now. Now, would I prefer to pull one over on somebody every single time I trade? Abso-mother-freaking-lutely. So, am I trying to do a 2-for-2? Absolutely. So, a couple examples of this would be I'm trying to get rid of Jacobs, okay, and maybe I could get this, I'm trying to get Scattaboo over here. I'm trying to potentially get Breece Hall for Jacobs. That would be good too. I'm potentially trying to move off of, let's call it, this is a tough territory. Let's go wide receiver. So many players that, we either, like if you had an Adams, for example, like you're trying to get rid of him, and then who do you get? What type of player can you go get at that stage? Am I trying to, let's say I was trying to do Bowers and Loveland and let's call it Loveland and I'm trying to think of a way. What if you were to try to get like a JJ, for example? You're buying low on JJ. Loveland and Nico and a second or a couple seconds. Or if it's not Nico, even if it was, let's call it Olave. Would I even give a St. Brown, who's not necessarily a spring chicken? Would I give up Loveland and St. Brown and a second for JJ and Bowers? You bet your bottom dollar I do. I love St. Brown, I do, but JJ's still going to be JJ at some point. I have no doubt about it. JJ, Josh Allen. What about Josh Allen? How could you get Bowers? Let's not get too crazy. Let's use Loveland, though. Let's say you have Loveland and you have Fannin. So you can trade Loveland and you're trying to get Josh Allen. This could be a quarterback, but if they already have a quarterback and that's why you're getting Allen to 1 QB, let's maybe say you're not giving up a QB. This could be a BTJ, who I don't necessarily know what you're getting out of him. I'm very eager to throw him in to get something like this done. We could be talking about a MHJ. All upside plays for sure, but Allen is a difference maker. He carries you week to week. He single-handedly wins you weeks. Allen, or whoops, wrong way. Allen for what? $1.3 and a second plus a QB. I'd easily do stuff like that. Would I give up, let's say the person that has Allen has Caleb, and you know they're kind of itching to go in that direction. First rounder, I mean, times 2. With what, like one's a 28, or a first rounder plus MHJ, a first rounder plus Waddle, a first rounder plus ETN, who's not a spring chicken, Barkley, Henry, Swift, Jacobs, and then the same kind of thing applies with Bowers too. All right, dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Man, I'll tell you, I feel so good about my Allen and Bowers teams right now in Dynasty. ETN, James Cook, what are you asking, Run? I don't know what you're asking. Cap says 27 picks he's not trading. Depends on what pick you have, bro. If it's 1.10, 1.11, 1.12, like if your team is the worst team in the league and you're going to have the 1.1 or 1.2 or 1.3, then I understand that. But if you've got late first, don't be fooled by the I call it the brainwashed, thinking where people are like, just accumulate 27s. Just go get 27s. It's such a good draft. Trade all your 26s for 27s. I feel bad for the people that did that and they ended up with a 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and now they've got a 27 mid to late. Who gives a crap? The 27 mid to late's not better than the 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. ETN, James Cook, I don't know what you mean by that. Why would the Bills trade for ETN? They have Cook. I don't know why you asking me that. I don't know. I didn't say it. I'm in year 3 in a dynasty, still learning. Yeah, just be careful though, because people say it all the time, bro. Oh, just get 27s. It doesn't matter what. It's not the way. Just make sure you know what the picks are. Would I rather have a top 3 27 than a top 3 26? I mean, in general, yeah. But if you said the 1.1 versus a 27 1.3, I'd rather have Jeremiah Love. Would I rather have the 1.3 and 27 versus the 1.2 and 26? Yeah. I would. Racing Boy, thank you very much. You're going to say I'm crazy. Derek says I missed his super chat. I don't see a super chat, Derek. You're going to say I'm crazy, but I put some feelers out on Allen for a wide receiver upgrade and a QB downgrade. Because can do it because can do it because I have May and I got no bites. You're going to think I'm crazy, but I put some feelers out on Allen for a wide receiver upgrade and a QB downgrade. Well, if it's a 1 QB, don't even ask for a QB back, because then you're just diluting the possible value you could get in return at the wide receiver. You know what I mean? Like if you're only going to get, let's just equate it to auction dollars. If you've got May and it's a 1 QB and you're trying to send, let's say, you're trying to send Allen off for a wide receiver, and let's equate it to auction dollars. And let's say you're probably going to get, let's call it $60 of auction dollars. You don't want to get $50 in wide receiver value and $10 in that quarterback value, because the quarterback value is going to be considered on the other side. So you reject that quarterback addition because you've got Drake May and you're good at QB. Unless it's super flex, I'm not trading Josh Allen. I'm not trading May or Josh Allen, period. But then I'm getting this $10 thrown out, and then I'm plugging it right back in so that it's $60, and I'm getting a wide receiver that really fits the bill. And if they say, no, I don't want to do it, then you don't trade with them. You know? Like, it should be Josh Allen's getting you a wide receiver like Olave's interesting, but probably not enough. It's like Pickens, London, Nico, JJ, St. Brown, Neighbors. Give up a little more, make it one of those. You can't get that for Josh Allen. You give up a little bit. You be the one that gives up a slightly bit more to get the upgrade. Don't settle downward, settle upward. Always try and upgrade whenever you can. And if Allen doesn't cut it, you're throwing in more. Don't be taking a quarterback unless you got to even the scale back somehow, but because you're giving up a little more now, you want to take a little bit back. But make sure you're not giving up Josh Allen in a super flex. I'll tell you that. Thank you, Racing Boy, for the super chat, my boy. Derek Roberts says, you missed my super chat, my guy. Derek, there's no super chat from you. I don't. Yeah, there's nothing there, Derek. Didn't go through, my boy. DJ, you're live. Hold on, DJ. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Hold on, DJ. I think I restarted everything, so we should be back to having the phone line. All right, go ahead, DJ. You're live.
Oh, Sam, best show on the planet, Smitty. I'm curious about the Buffalo Bills position. It makes sense, right, for Dable to, be the head coach there for that continuity. And he wasn't that bad. I mean, he did pretty decent with Dart. But with how the front office and the ownership dealt with Coleman, do you think that they should have their pick of the litter? Yes, they should, because of Josh Allen. I mean, he's Josh Allen. But I'm feeling like people are maybe shying away from that, because I think Kubiak would be ideal. I think he's the hottest or the best one. OC, I think. Cliff Kingsbury. Any other OC. What do you think?
Well, I think that we're probably looking, because of the candidates that we're looking at. We're looking at Dable, we're looking at Kingsbury, we're looking at probably Webb. And because Josh Allen is getting a heavy hand in this decision, I'm pushing my chips in. It's almost like I'm counting cards at a poker table in Vegas. And I see, and I've looked at the cards, I know what's left in the deck, and it's 95% in my favor. With Josh Allen being in a driver's seat position to help choose this coach, there's no way they're picking trash. And the names being floated are all good. So I'm willing to right now take any gamble that like Could I come back a day from now and go, they hire Matt Nagy, and I lower my head and I start the live stream and I say, I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I still think Josh Allen would survive it, but like, would it be ideal? No. So, but I'm willing to produce content because everyone knows that I am speculating here and I'm making it very, very blatantly obvious that we are going all in. And again, you're still going to be able to once this OC's announced. I don't think it's, without it being McDaniel, I think even Kingsbury doesn't push a lot of people over the edge on it. Like, oh my God, you know, Kingsbury, people don't like Kingsbury. A lot of people don't. McDaniel would have made Josh Allen climb to the middle of the second round. You know, like, but there's no one left that can do that. So I feel very confident that even me telling people to strike now in Dynasty before they get their OC and they get a little nudge, I don't think it's going to even matter. I think we're still going to steal Josh Allen away for a while. I'm not worried about it. I know Brandon Beane's a problem, and him getting promoted feels like he's going to have more power, and that does suck in a way, and maybe that's going to suck for the draft. But Josh Allen in fantasy, it almost doesn't matter. You know, Josh Allen's carrying you every week. We're witnessing Josh Allen do amazing things, be the number one quarterback. This is all without getting any extra help, and even with Brandon Beane in the way, we're still going to see this situation probably greatly improve. And once it does, Josh Allen will see an uptick in value. Like trading for AJB, trading for George Pickens when he's tagged and can't figure out a deal with Jerry. Mike Evans is a free agent, probably won't break the bank, and he's ring chasing at this point. Like, once that move happens, then yeah, it's going to be a little late to get him at this current value. So it's time to push all in. I don't think even Beane can mess this up, because it can only get better from here. And if it doesn't, Josh Allen's still QB1. So how can this get ruined? It can't. There's nothing that can soil here. Josh Allen's independently valuable beyond anybody's getting in the way. There's just no, it's not like any other quarterback, you know. He carries this thing by himself no matter what. So if I'm telling you we're on the floor, we're at the floor value, and even with Beane getting promoted, which is some of it's just a facade, they bring in the right coach. Josh Allen's now given responsibility, a little bit of sway. He's going to guide them with wide receiver decisions and all that, coaching, and Beane will be there to say, yeah, I'll double stamp that. He wants success too. Beane like Shine, I have a feeling Beane's a little more worried about his decisions going forward, just like Joe Scheinbox was, and let other people kind of guide the ship. After they lost Barkley, I don't think he necessarily thought, I know what I'm doing. I bet you he's a little more cautious about decisions, or was. Now he doesn't have any control at all. I have a feeling that Josh Allen's been brought in, and they're going to listen to him in the decision-making process. This is not just a Josh Allen said it, we're going to go against it. This guy's pissed off, bro. He wants to have the right pieces in place. And I highly doubt they're going to go against his wishes. I don't know how picky he'll be. You know, like maybe he's like, I want this, and they're like, no, we can't do that. And then he gets pissed off. I don't think it'll be like that. But I think if Allen says bring in Mike Evans, they're going to bring in Mike Evans. If Allen says, I want Dable, they're literally going to only not hire Dable if there's some significant reason why. I think we'll have evidence of this if Dable or Webb or other very Josh Allen friendly head coach gets hired. We'll have very good confirmation that he is pulling some more strings than we thought, which is awesome.
Yeah, I get that. You know what is interesting when it comes to Beane, in my opinion, even if they wanted to trade up for a wide receiver, let's say they want to move up for Tyson or something along those lines, they don't have very many, in my opinion, like trade pieces when you look at their roster.
Yeah, that's why they're probably not a real good potential contender for a trade up into the top three. But there is some, if Mekhi Lemon ends up going before one of the other two, or if Mekhi Lemon himself falls, there's a way to get like in that territory. Right now, Buffalo's at 26 overall, or I think they're at, what are they at, 20? What's the projected? I think it's 26 overall. So to move up into like 15, it's doable. It's doable.
Yeah.
But I think if you solve the wide receiver dilemma with Mike Evans, then it doesn't matter. They don't have to move that pick. You can still do whatever you plan on doing. I don't think a trade on draft day or move up on draft day is required with Mike Evans out there. Mike Evans is the perfect fit. And I see it, man. I see it. It's Josh Allen's never had even Diggs to a degree wasn't exactly this, but Josh Allen's never had a guy that he could say, F it, he's over there. I'm just going to throw it. It's the first time as a guy. I just see it happening. I could be wrong, but I think Mike Evans, where else would Mike Evans want to go to? Like if someone said, hey, Mike, you want to play with Josh Allen? I mean, really? Like, who's going to say no to that? I have a feeling he's
right.
Unless he returns back to Tampa on a discount and just wants to stay, that's something that's possible. Let me fix this draft order real quickly. Go ahead while you're talking. I'm going to do that.
But I agree with you. Be it Evans, Pickens, let's not mess around. I would think they'd want to just bring in, AJ Brown. Stop messing around. Bring in a number one. Because the draft, you just don't know.
Well,
and the thing is, Josh is good. He's good enough to say, okay, well, we'll draft this receiver, but it could be like, mid, because he's that good. So let's get him a number one.
In the case of AJ Brown, that will require the trade that they may not have the capital or the picks for. So that's why Mike Evans makes the most sense. Mike Evans it just feels like a lock. Okay, Carolina 19, Dallas 20, Pittsburgh 21, Chargers 22, Eagles 23, Buffalo is not 24 now. Let me pull all these off and reorganize this real quickly. Hold on. We had it locked into 23, I think. So we're going to have to make a guesstimation. So 24 is going to be, let's see, 23 Philly, 24 Cleveland, which is the Jacksonville pick that Cleveland has. So there's that. Then Bears, Buffalo, San Francisco, Houston. Okay. So now we've got it fixed up. Okay. Because I hadn't fixed the playoffs. Go ahead.
Oh, right on. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, in terms of Allen's draft value, Dave or whoever else, I don't know that it's going to rocket ship any more than what it might be, which is what, mid-second, maybe late 2, 3. If I can get him in the third, excellent. That makes a lot of sense from that value standpoint. Receiver or no receiver. It just is what it is. It's built in. He just is who he is.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm trying to tell everyone. It's like, worst case scenario, Josh Allen does exactly what he did last year. He's the number 1 overall, number 2 or number 3 overall quarterback at the cost of entry of third round. He's even a steal there. even if we find out things do not get better, he's still a steal at third round territory. That's the part that's hilarious to me. Not thinking Josh Allen is worth the third rounder because there's depth at the position is ridiculous. He is a league winner. And the fact remains is there's a lot of upside for him to increase value. Okay, hold on one second. Let's Seattle, LA. Man, this is such a tough thing to predict here. I'm just going to throw it like this. I'm not saying this is exactly how I feel, but let's just put it like that. Okay. Rams 32, New England 31. Again, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm just throwing it in there. So Buffalo has that 26 overall pick. So now I have that there just for reference. All right. What else, DJ?
Bowers. Mendoza. I guess that's what it seems like it's going to be, or maybe even should be. And in terms of Bauer's value, what do you have him? You have him, was it 2 behind McBride? That at this point, I'm not holding you to it, but
ADP wise, yeah. But would I rather have Bowers around later every time? I mean, I'll let me put it this way again: diversification. I'll have some McBride shares, but I'll have taken McBride most likely in these drafts and see Bowers fall too far and kick myself. But I'm gonna need some McBride shares for sure. But I think push comes to shove, in any one isolated scenario, if you told me Bowers is gonna go at 4.1 or 3.11. McBride goes at 2.12. I'm taking Bowers every single time in that isolated scenario. But I mean, it's if they were next to each other, it'd be different. But we're talking about probably, I would say, a whole round plus maybe in some cases 2 to 5, 2 to 6 picks additional. Like it could be 15 overall picks different, some cases maybe later. We have no clue where people are taking Brock Bowers. We have no clue if Brock Bowers is somebody that everybody's going to be running from. Why is my mic all of a sudden? Hold on a second, damn it. Stupid mic level again. Okay, guys, you're going to have to turn down this is like the 5th day in a row that I've had this. Check. I'm sorry about that, guys. Stupid mic level. I don't know if my APM show was at that mic level. The last like 2 or 3 out of the last like 7 shows have had a low mic level, and I'm starting to figure out what is the culprit. As I update stuff, it resets my mic level. There's nothing I can do about it. It's nothing anybody needs to worry about. But I'm identifying when it's happening and remembering, so I apologize. All right, anything else, DJ?
I'm not too sure it's you, man. It might be Big Brother. You might be.
I know what it is. I know what it is. There's just a couple other things that are happening that I realize are also tied to it, but.
So in terms of Bowers, I definitely get that. Assuming they have the QB in there, and I'm assuming that might be Mendoza. Getting a wide receiver on the outside, I guess that would be a priority for them as well, right? Because we're thinking Bowers is the number one, i.e. number one pass catcher. Then Genty. And I don't know who else do they have there. So that would perhaps be a priority. And who's to say one of these free agents might not land there? Even Wendell or something along those lines.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, my boy.
Yep. Good stuff, man.
All right, thanks,
DJ.
DJ.
Thanks.
Later, bro. Man, that damn audio. I'm sorry, guys. That pisses me off. That pisses me off that the whole show is like and it's still low right now. And then I have to reset it, and then I have to I think this is about where it should be, so I apologize. You guys will have to probably lower the volume a little bit. That should be good. That should be right about, and then when I scream and yell, it gets a little higher. I got to see where this damn update was. Jeez, man. It's pissed me off. BA goes to the Raiders. Maybe, I don't know, bro. Who wants BA? I'm not saying a team's not going to, surprise us and want him. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't teams that aren't dumb out there. Automatically adjust. Yeah, that's off. I think it's, damn it. Stupid audio. All right, guys, anything else? Appreciate you all. Thank you for the super chats earlier. Thank you. Who was it that dropped the supers? It was It was a box of juice and Racing Boy dropping the double. Racing Boy, do you have any follow-ups, my boy, before I get out of here? Appreciate all of you. Did it sound like the audio was extremely low, or was it not that bad? I'm just curious. For me, it felt like it was bad based on the level, but maybe it wasn't that awful. I'll wait for Racing Boy to answer real quickly. Yeah, but was it bad earlier, Caps? Was it really, really, really low, or is it just kind of whatever? Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you. I don't know if we'll go live on Dynasty tonight. Maybe we will. No, we won't. Let's go. I'll do a video tomorrow on Dynasty. Am I trading Bijan for James Cook, Pickens, and a 26-second? No. No, Big Bank. I'm not doing that. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate you all. Please hit that like button on the way out the door. Please subscribe if you're new. Make sure you get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com. Description has that link. That's my year-round content. Make sure you get on over to the Patreon. That's the 24/7 live chat group that I'm in, that Travis is in, that all the amazing people you see in the live chat helping you. Those people are in here. $10 a month, cancel anytime. Get in there. 24/7, 365 live chat group. Don't forget to watch the 8 p.m. show right here on Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens. And if you just got in here, hit rewind and watch this. And if not, you need more content, go to the Dynasty channel. We dropped a video yesterday on the Dynasty channel. It was actually about Lamar. So I'll see you all later. Appreciate every single one of you. Deuce. Look at this second round. I was going through this earlier. Shuck, 40 overall. Burden, 39 overall. Hendy, 38 overall. A lot of value in the second round. We have RJ Harvey here. This is a really intriguing second round. I can't wait for the NFL draft. I just can't mother freaking wait. See you all tomorrow. Appreciate every single one of you.